It's everyone's first time here on earth, so keep in mind that yays, lovers, and glasses of wine, these are the things that should never be counted. Hey you! I'm your host, Viva, a girl who is stuck with too many fiction and fantasies. Welcome. This is You Could Pod, where there is only possibilities of everything you could reckon. We have thoughts and also we have fun here on You Could Pod twice a week on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Definitely like, follow, subscribe, share, and do well to leave me a review and your thoughts because I care about it too much. Welcome to another episode of You Could Pod. Yeah, drummer please. With me again, of course, it's me all the time. Man, who are you expecting? Please. Viva, and today on this wonderful Kremlin episode, I don't know why I said that. I don't even know what that means. I'm going to be asking a question I think about sometimes, a question I actually have a mad laugh about. Yes, like whenever I have this go through my head, I'm always thinking, why is this a thing? Is this really that important? Is there one more important than the other? Or is this just all a freaking sham? Okay. And the question I have is, ta-da! History comparisons. I mean, which is more important? My question is, in all the historical events that has happened, that is happening, past and present, and probably maybe the future, but we don't know that for sure, right? Okay, so which is more important? Which could possibly be more important? Is there something that has happened before that is possibly something everyone should know? Because if you don't know it, it then decides if you are a worthy member of the society or if you are someone who is reasonable. Because trust me, I have actually had a group of persons think and say and even believe that should a particular person knows a historical event that has happened sometime in the past, that it means that they're actually bright. I don't know if I'm the only one who has had this experience before, but seriously, people do, how will I put it? People do generate or people do feel that a measure to decide if a person is smart on what they're doing or is worthy in whatever way, it would mean that they actually know some historical event or fact that has happened in the past. And to me, it is just hilarious. I mean, it makes me laugh because somehow I'm wondering, what is the difference? What is actually the difference with then and now? Right? Because I don't get it. But before I start to say whatever it is I have to say, I'm going to have to tell you a little story. Ding dong. Once upon a time, whatever, never land, I was among some group of persons and somebody voiced out a particular idea. And this person went, I don't understand why the young people of nowadays don't actually know the things that has happened before. They don't have a clue of what has happened in the past, let's say For example, no young person actually know what's happened in 1930 or maybe 1960 or maybe 1912, whatever year. It's so ignorant. I mean, why won't young people really know what happened before now? The thing they care about so much is what is happening now. They care so much about TV, they care so much about social media, they care so much about this era of reality TV, of influencing and all that stuff. And sometimes I'm just like laid down on my own in my head. I'm thinking, is there really any importance? I mean, is there one that is more important than the other? Am I going to say that the fact that Juku sometime married Bianca is way more important than the fact that now Kanye used to be married to Kim Kardashian, or the fact that Tiwa Savage used to be married to T-Bills? I mean, what is different? Is it because it's entertainment or because it is relative to politics? I mean, why does that even have to be a way to know who is more presentable, more brighter? Why do people who are a bit older think that if you have to know about something that has happened in the past, why do they think is way more important than knowing what has happened now? I mean, if you have to look at it this way, just indulge me for a little while. Let's say this time is gone and this era is past, this century is gone, and then our kids have to talk about the time that, oh, there was actually a time in the history of Nigeria. The reason why I don't actually want to use the history of my beautiful, adored country so much is because most of them that comes to my mind immediately when I'm saying this, most of the stuff that comes to my mind just as I'm saying this is politics. And I don't want this to be political because it's not the vibe I'm feeling, okay? I don't want to go for something and go against something. I know it is a very important thing. I am not a political, never, I will never be. Of course, I care about who should lead me, who should direct me, who should be with me, or whose ideas or norms that I should follow. I do care about that. 120% I do. But then if I have to talk about this and then I have to actually focus on my country, the only thing that I will come to my mind, the only history that I will have running through my head would just be the political minded histories. So please, I am going to be throwing a fast shot. Besides, what's more fun? Okay, so let's say, for example, oh yes, let me go back to the time of far away. Let's say somebody knows something that happened in the Palace of Versailles, okay? That was back then when the king had to leave Paris. Did he have to leave Paris? He didn't leave Paris. Anyway, he grew up in the Palace of Versailles, and therefore he grew up and decided to make the Palace of Versailles everything, and he ruled from there. What is different? Like, why is that particular time in history way more important than the fact that right now, although it wouldn't really be the same thing, because then I'll be talking about monarchy and entertainment, but it doesn't matter, okay? Just humor me because I'm just going at it, okay? So what would be the difference if that time when that king back decades and centuries ago, he did that, what would actually be the difference right now that someone like, say, Burna Boy, the fact that this very popular musician that almost everybody likes, that I like too, that is currently married, Davido. Okay, because I mean he went to rest, right? He went to rest for some time because some time ago he lost his child, he lost his kid, which is very, very sad if you come to think about it. And therefore, he took out the time, and then now he's back, and it's Britney, bitches. So what is more important? I mean, what is way more important that years ago, years ago, that I'm gonna even have to like stretch down when I talk about music, because I love music. Okay. When I have to make an instance from music, you would actually hear people say, or people who generally believe that if this person actually knows this reggae song or knows this particular track that was played back then in the 90s or played in the early Y2Ks or played back then in the 80s, that this is the jam, that now, I mean, who decided that music back then is better than the one now? Who decided, who started the history comparison about things? Who started making it look like old stuff is better than new stuff? Can we just leave and all agree that it's the same thing? I just find it so funny. I mean, it's a question that is like stuck in my head full time. When it comes to historical events, when it comes to politics, who decided that all this stuff that happened years ago, when Nigeria was just being amalgamated all the time, we just broke free from, gained our independence, broke free from our colonial masters, who decided that that is way more important? Of course it is way more important. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that a person should not actually know what a specific paramount detail about the country or geographical location that they reside in. But all I'm saying is, who decided that old stuff is better than new stuff? Come on. They're basically people who think, who believe, who will die. Who would die struggling with the notion that the stuff that we were all taught in school about history and government and social studies and all that stuff, that it actually means so much, that it is what is important. Not right now that all this stuff are not being taught. Life changes, evolution happens. I am very sure that the things that happened mattered, and the things that were very, very important and was a way of life centuries ago when Jesus Christ was on earth is different from the things now. It cannot be the same thing. I mean, all I'm trying to say is, way of life is not supposed to be right or wrong just based off the fact that years and centuries ago it was the actual way of life. I mean, I know some of you really know that years ago, for the particular doctrine in the Christian community here in our country, these people, this particular church and these particular people, they believe that if you watched TV, like if you looked at TV, if you had a television set in your house, you were doomed for hell. Oh my God. And now it's different. I mean, it's not even a thing. Like, that is no longer a reason for you to be doomed to hell. Like, do you guys get it? There is no stuff that is way more important. I mean, when you put your hands on and then pick it up and make it look like, oh no, all the stuff that mattered back then is the actual way life should be. It looks as if we are not getting to the progressive state, because we need to really be. Okay, I'm going to take it partly again down to this other part about skin tags, tattoos. No, you all know about tattoos, right? Okay, you do. Okay. Some people will tell you this is not what Christians are meant to do. In the Bible, it's bad. It's a sin. So if you did that, and then people even go as far as judging us, saying, "Oh my God, that pastor has a tattoo. This person." To say they're worshiping God, or they're so much into God, or so much into their particular religion, so much they have a skin tattoo, so that means they should be disqualified. It doesn't really matter. But I want you guys to understand that years ago, decades and centuries ago, Leviticus, it was a thing. You know why? Because then almost all the people had tattoos on them, and God wanted to actually differentiate the Israelites, his people, from every other people. It was a thing, it was a norm for people to draw stuff on their skin. It wasn't a way to say, "Oh no, you're bad, you're cool," It was a traditionally, culturally, socially accepted thing. But because of the religion then, God wanted to make a difference. He wanted to pick out the parts and say, Israelites, the way I am going to differentiate you guys, the way I'm going to pick you guys apart from every other part is if you abstained from putting this stuff on your skin. And that was the way, that was a mark, a territorial mark to know that, okay, this is how you know this type of people, okay? It's just like the same thing you say, a particular brand could choose a color green or whatsoever. Okay, let me go for example and use the telecommunication brand Globacom. They have this green stuff. So before it was Glow with Pride, rule the world, and then they keep them coming with all their slogans and all that. Okay, they have this green thing. So somehow when you think of telecommunication and then the color green pops up to your mind, or you see the color green, what comes to your head? It's glow. It would not actually mean that it has to be that the only color that is worth something is if it is green. It doesn't change it. It would not matter that back then Etisalat used a particular color, and now they're Mobile, right? Now they're using a different kind of color. It wouldn't really matter that back then Zain, there was this telecommunication stuff called Zain that they were now, I think they should be Airtel. I don't know if they're the one that metamorphosed into Airtel or something, I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is things and rules and lifestyles of that actually existed back then, decades ago, is not a way to actually decide that people living now, that all of us who are alive now, if we didn't follow back those rules, if we don't live our lives heading towards and following those rules, it doesn't mean that we're not supposed to be, let's say, qualified, or say socially accepted, or morally above each person. There is no different historical events that happened past and historical events happening now. No one is way more important, okay? It does not matter. It's just that the people selling the education, I don't know why I put it like that. Oh my God. It's just that the fact that education and tutoring our kids, going through the programs of schooling and their curricula and all that, just had to put in history, so people could know what happened before. It doesn't mean that we should definitely abide to that. And it definitely repeated as many times I am going to do with it. It does not mean that if a person knows stuff that happened in the 80s or the 1900s or the 18th century and way back, it doesn't make them smarter. It doesn't make them wiser. It just means that they just know this stuff. They just know it. I'm not saying that people should not know some particular stuff, but there is nothing in life is numb. Nothing in life is eternal. Nothing is, this is it and forever. Nothing stays forever, because the word turns and people are born, people die, kids come out, old people wither, people are buried, people are born, people are buried, people are born. It can be the same thing over and over again. So whoever brought up this notion that the way to decide that a particular youth or a particular young person is way wiser because it was something that happened back then. Oh my God, can we just kill that notion? It doesn't mean anything. Let's look for another thing. Let's just look for another reason to decide who is smarter, okay? Let's just look for another reason to decide that, because oh my God, that one is so old. It just makes me laugh when people compare things that has happened all the time. Okay, I have this personal story, okay? Back when I was growing up, my other brothers would not let me wear trousers, back then. Oh my God, if I wore trousers, it meant to him it meant that I wasn't, I'm not portraying a child of God. I'm not portraying the background where I came from, which has, the connotations and all that. And I was so frustrated and I was so angry, because most of the clothes I had then were trousers, and not just that, all my peers are wearing trousers. How am I going to stick to just skirts? But then he believed it was the thing. No, in the Bible they say if you wear a garment that is made for a man, you are not. Come on, we know that years past that the Romans all wore, will I say gowns? Everybody wore a flowing dress. Oh my God, dress. It did not mean, and it will not mean, and it does not mean that if you wore it now, it means that, oh my God, you are not it. You are not the person we should borrow. Come on, can we deal with that? Oh, because one day I feel like my rib is just gonna crack whenever or anytime I hear somebody compare what has happened before to now, I feel like my rib is gonna crack out of laughter, because I can't stop laughing about that. It gets me every time when someone says, oh my God, the stuff that happened back then, you actually know it. Hey, my dear, you know what happened then? I knew that you were smart. Please, dude, that is not a measure. It's not a way to know. You remember, it's definitely not a measure at all. It's no way to know. I don't know. Of course, some of you guys could possibly recall the times that parents used to beat up their kids just because they were lefties. I don't know. Do any of you know a scenario or even one person, a victim, a child? Who were you? I mean, I recall that so much. People beat up their kids as correctional majors. Like, people corrected their kids just because they were using the left hand. Their left hand. Even the kids don't know why they were doing that. Even the parents don't know why. But somehow they believe they had to remove it. Somehow they just had it so permanently stuck in their head that it's a behavioral attitude. So if it is a behavioral attitude, that means he or she might have learned this stuff while growing up or in some kind of way. They had to beat their kids. They had to do, maybe not just beat their kids, they had to do different stuff to make their kids not use their left hands. Wow! Something we don't even have an explanation for. Come on. And I don't want to say that like it's more of the fact that we humans, we are crazy competitive and for no reason at all. I always say that for no just reason. So how are we just competitive over something that shouldn't even matter for real? Like, oh my God. And this is most likely the stuff that was happening, or what I say, it's more normal for the boomers, the people, and some of we millennials, we also believe that. You hear people who say, oh my God, the Afro pop and the Afro beats and the music that was made back in early Y2Ks are very, very different. Like the lyrics are cool, the lyrics are dope, you can listen to. I mean, I am not gonna lie, sometimes I am one of them. Sometimes I compare and I say, oh my God, this tastes better, this sounded better, this felt way better. There was a time, I could even put it onto our currency. There was a time that our money was worth more in our own country. Then if you had, say, 1,000 naira, or you had 10,000 naira, oh my God, it was something. And do you know how much then the parents and people who lived in that world and who were so much stuck up in that world would definitely believe and want to strangle you as to the fact if you think that you were extravagant or lavish, that you wouldn't keep it your money. How would they even know that it would come a time when the 10K didn't really mean 10K? 10K was now stuff you could just use to get yourself by. Jeez, that is why when I say I want to talk about historical comparison, or when I want to look at from the past and towards the present and possibly the future, I could not even think of using our country as a host because there's so many stuff, there's too many things that is just relative, there's too many things that is just a norm, like a regular thing here in this our part of the world that sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I feel ashamed about it, I feel kind of like ashamed. The fact that I've somehow mingled with people that are not just Nigerians and all that. I feel like, why do we have this? Why are we on this particular spot? Why are we not ever going to get better? It doesn't matter. So much emphasis. You could even hear, I'm a Christian, so I believe it has gained me the right to talk about Christianity and doctrines and churches, okay? It has. So, because God is one, our God is one. Jesus Christ, God is one. No matter where you're going to, whether your doctrine or your belief on whatever, it doesn't even matter. So when it comes to churches, you see people who tell you that there are things you're doing that is not cool with the Bible. And I believe it. I'm not saying that it's not true or the Bible is wrong or whatever. I cannot think of that. Please. Even though I had a brain, I could not think of that. But what I'm saying is, don't you see that everything, every religion, every belief, every culture, every tradition, every norm, every rule that people in the past life, people ever take on and live their life and caution their ways and their beliefs according to, is only influenced by time. And time is the biggest changer of anything and everything. Time changes literally everything. There were times this was different, and this cannot even be the same now. So when people say, oh my God, I mean, there are people here today. Of course, there should be people. I know there are people actually, I believe that there are people actually who somehow still believe that if you do wear trousers, it's wrong. I am not here to say that indecent dressing is cool, that people should indecently dress. I am not that. I don't partake in that connotation at all. I don't even believe it for myself at all. But I feel like every dress and every attitude and every outfit should fit the particular occasion it is being worn for. I am a firm believer and 1,000,000% of that. That is my core. But the thing is, still today, there are people who strongly believe that if you wore this kind of outfit, it made you this. The stereotype, when people categorize stuff just because they feel in the past this was a sin, now this is a sin. Or yesterday this was not accepted, so today it can never be accepted. So when it comes to historical events comparison, I don't know, I couldn't find any other thing I could say about any other topic or any other way I could put it in to make it look like, okay, it's not about historical events. But I feel like what I am trying to say, what I'm trying to, the message I'm trying to pass on, it's more relative on when I talk about historical events. Things that has happened before, things from the past can never be the same. It can never be the same. Most people, according to the doctrines, they tell you, oh, the way you do this is not the way you should be. The way you do that is not. But it does not mean that it is wrong. And that is why when it comes to the biggest topic of our lives, of that I believe that everyone should definitely know, morality, I always say to myself, to people I talk with and whoever cares to listen, that morality is just according to a particular person, according to a particular self, according to a particular notion and belief. It's not a general term. It's not something that works for, it's not all good for the this, good for the gander. It's not everybody in the same. There is no, yes, there are parts, there are some morality cues and norms that everyone is totally, as a human being, you're supposed to know about it, you're supposed to stick with it, but it is not all. What could be morally right for you, it could definitely be morally wrong for me. We are different people. We have different backgrounds, different environment, different upbringing, different belief, different love for things. There are things I am indifferent about. I don't care. I mean, I am not particular about when I say hate and love. And to other people, oh my God, it's a no. You have just hit the stumbling block and nothing can change. That is where we differ. So please, human beings, me inclusive, of course. So please, can we just sleep ahead and understand that it doesn't matter. The fact that someone knows stuff about the past does not make them possibly the best. The fact that someone knows that somewhere away from the world, things they could not just naturally know. Things is not possible for everyone to just grab onto. Information that is maybe sort of like, say, limited to their career choice, or what they do for a living, or what they partake in, or what they love, or what their passion is. It does not mean that they tend to be the brightest or the smartest in the room. Okay? Just indulge me for a little and understand that. Can we just let that pass? And stop giving people attributes and accolades just based off the fact that they know stuff that happened before now. Dude, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't. And that's what I think. That's what I believe, I guess. And just like I said, it's something that always makes me laugh, for real. I mean, I try to be very subtle while discussing this stuff right now, talking to you guys and myself about this stuff. I try to be very subtle in saying it because I didn't want to laugh and giggle every point in time. Could you imagine how crazy that would be? I didn't want to, but it is something that makes me laugh every time. Oh my God. Can we just chill? And the amount of time I have said definitely, the amount of time I have said oh my God, and the amount of time I've said so many things repeatedly. God, oh my God, I just did it again. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now so I don't repeat it over and over. Can I just say it one last time? Oh my God. Okay, guys. But that said, that's what I think. That's what gets me off. It takes me off. It's my questionnaire. It's my question background that never gets out of my head at all. For a fact, it doesn't. With that said, I hope you could, I know definitely, I'm not even going to be hoping what? Please. I am not hoping that I know that you definitely have encountered this stuff, or you are even one of them that does this stuff, or you have been in the shoes of getting this upon yourself. Yep. It could be you, it could be whatever around you. I know you have. I want you to relate and tell me about all this stuff. I do. I really do. I want to get a feedback. I've really enjoyed all the feedbacks I've gotten so far. Oh my God. So I really want to know this comparison or comparisons or comparison, whatever the freaking English dictionary people make it out to be. However, I want you to reach out and tell me and give me a feedback because I care about it, like I said, too much, okay? And while you are recalling and maybe even laughing to all this fat like me when I record mine and decided to share with you while you're recalling and doing all that stuff, while you're living your life and going to people and criticizing them about the fact that they don't know old stuff, you should definitely not forget that years lovers and glasses of wine, shots of whiskey, even kegs of tumbo, these are the things that should never be counted at all. Don't do that. And dreamy girl, me, I'm out. Fantasy girl, I'm out. I've been fantasizing so much. I've been living in my head all through space while I've been trying to talk about this stuff. I have been in that fictional character, I had to imagine myself many times that I did it. I said it myself, and many times that I got it off people. So, with that little boy said, trust me, I'll be out in a sneaky peek, and don't forget that I'll be back. I definitely will be back. And the next thing I have to say, okay, I am not letting anything out. I am so excited for it. I am. Ciao, guys, dudes. Catch you later. Mwah. Okay, before you get out of the building, don't forget to follow on socials, IG on You Could Pod and Facebook on You Could Pod. I want to hear from you, right? So hit me up. Let's chitty chat.